This is Wellington Clark presenting a group project for Strategic Management 6726. We are Group 9 and the company we will be presenting is Ford Motor Company. Our strategic analysis of the Ford Motor Company will be broken up into 6 sections: strategy analysis, performance analysis, internal analysis, external analysis, strategic options, and then we will complete it with recommendations. Ford's basic business strategy is called One Ford. Initiated by CEO Alan Mulally, the One Ford strategy was initiated with the goal of turning an inefficient global corporation with many disparate parts into one seamless company. The mission for One Ford is one team, one plan, one goal. The core of the One Ford strategy centers on restructuring brands, manufacturing, purchasing, and other processes around a global strategy to better utilize synergies, reduce costs, and reduce the time needed to develop and bring new products to market. A large component of the One Ford strategy centers around the use of one automotive platform. This one automotive platform would then be applied to multiple cars and trucks. They would then be able to discount the engineering, design costs, and production efforts across a multitude of vehicles. We see this use in the Ford CD3 platform. This platform is used in the midsize Ford Fusion, the Mercury Milan, the Mazda 6, the Lincoln MKZ, and non-midsize sedans such as the Mazda CX-9 and the Ford Edge. We see this strategy being used in the Ford engines as well. The EcoBoost V6 is being used in 3 different types of vehicles: in the Ford Taurus, the Ford Flex, and the Ford F-150 truck. In addition, powertrains are being designed for worldwide consumption with the flexibility to be tailored to different local market needs. As part of the restructuring under the One Ford strategy, Ford shed underperforming companies, reduced redundant badges, and restructured union contracts. Ford is the only one of the big 3 U.S. automakers that did not take government TARP bailout funds. Instead, the company put initiatives in place to reduce its massive debt, increase sales, and improve its financial outlook. In 2009, Ford reported revenues of $116.3 billion, a 19% decline from 2008. Low interest rates, incentives, and a refocused Ford bounced back in 2010, where the company saw its largest sales increase in 11 years when sales jumped to $121 billion. In 2010, Ford experienced sales growth in every region of the world with the exception of Europe. Ford's U.S. business saw a 15% increase in 2010 fourth quarter sales, and for the first time since 1993, the company had back-to-back market share increases. In addition, Ford had the largest sales percentage increase of any full-line automaker. Ford has done a good job managing its debt in a tough economic climate. While still heavily leveraged, Ford has managed to reduce its debt by $14.5 billion and strengthen its balance. Simply put, Ford has returned to profitability. In 2011, Ford reported earnings of $6.6 billion, its largest profit in 11 years. Ford is experiencing an improving equity picture as well. In 2009, the company's operating margin was minus 2.95%, well below the S&P 500 company's average of 7.26 and the industry average of 6.36. Low operating profit tends to indicate inefficient cost management, which could be evidenced by Ford's rising manpower costs or weak pricing strategy. Earnings per share has improved from minus 6.50 in 2008 to 1.67 for 2010. Founded in 1903, Ford has grown to a multi-billion-dollar corporation with 198,000 employees. Operating across the world through 650 domestic and international subsidiaries, Ford has strong market positions in North America, Europe, and other Asia-Pacific regions. 54% of revenues come from North America, 32% of revenues come from Europe, and 14% of revenues from the rest of the world. This wide geographic presence helps Ford manage the risk associated with operating in a particular geographic region. Ford's brand reputation and strong portfolio of products are strengths of the company. Consumer Reports ranks Ford as the third best brand in terms of consumer perception behind Toyota and Honda. Ford believes they offer quality products with high safety performance. The first sports car and first convertible to receive the U.S. National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration's highest safety rating of 5 stars in all categories was the Ford Mustang. These type of accolades are due to Ford's high-quality products and technical expertise and have helped the company in gaining a large customer base. We use the Five Forces model to perform our external analysis for Ford Motor Company. When we look at suppliers, we think Ford has done a good job to keep prices reasonable. They outsource parts that they cannot manufacture in-house at a reasonable rate. This allows them to keep the cost of their vehicles lower. With respect to buyers, we know that a vehicle is an expensive purchase, and a buyer is going to look at the cost as well as quality as important factors when they make a decision. Ford, with its One Ford strategy, has done a good job in cost cutting and keeping the prices of their cars reasonable. New entrants such as Tata are competitors to Ford. For the first time in history, the big three automakers have dropped below 50% of the U.S. market share as a result of foreign-based automakers. Of the 49.5% share U.S. automakers hold, Ford is approximately one-third, which indicates they have a slightly below average presence within the. When we look at the threat of potential substitutes, I think most people, when they've decided to make a car purchase, it's fairly expensive, so I think they've done the work already to decide that they actually need the car, and they've really examined whether substitute products will work. So I don't think there's a big threat of substitute products so much as there's a threat of substitute brands and other makers. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi all have plans to broaden their product offerings. Such intense competition could have a negative impact on the company's profitability and market share. In 2009, the auto industry had excess capacity of 29 million units. We can expect to see aggressive financing, price rebates, and leasing programs as automotive companies attempt to maximize production and sales. Ford has done a remarkable job reinventing itself in its return to profitability. The question can be asked, where does Ford go from here? While Ford's current strategy is working, the company has to be proactive in today's business environment. Should the company continue its focus on the One Ford strategy or switch gears in light of renewed competitors Chrysler and General Motors? We will look at and evaluate several strategic options for the Ford Motor Company. The first option would be maintaining the status quo. Through the efforts of Ford's global One Ford strategy, cost-cutting, and shedding non-performing units, Ford has returned to profitability. The fourth quarter 2010 results were the most profitable for Ford in 11 years. The company has spent years and enormous resources reinventing itself into a formidable player. Continuing its current strategy would allow Ford to leverage its expertise it has gained in a leaner, meaner company. Another option would be to rethink the One Ford strategy and capitalize on opportunities in emerging markets. Fourth quarter 2011 was the most profitable for Ford in 11 years, but the company did miss earning expectations. They had record sales in India, but the company lost money in India due to misjudging consumer appeal. By rethinking the One Ford strategy, the company can examine whether one platform for a multitude of vehicles fits emerging markets where consumers are buying vehicles that are very different than vehicles purchased in developed nations. The last option would be for Ford to refocus their marketing efforts to address competitor threats in the U.S. and Europe. In the U.S., Ford has a worthy competitor in GM, which has a much stronger balance sheet due to its bankruptcy reorganization and government assistance. Europe is Ford's #1 foreign market. There, BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz have all announced plans to broaden their product offerings. Ford should consider shifting resources to address these concerns. By all accounts, Ford's current strategy has been very successful for the company, and there is no reason for major changes. The company should, however, modify certain aspects to address the changes in its competitive environment and the economic environment in general. Given this and other factors stated in this report, we make the following strategic recommendations with stated risks and challenges. Number 1, Ford should revise its marketing plans to address vulnerabilities in Ford's core U.S. and European markets. What they don't want to do is turn their back on their One Ford global strategy. Number two would be to refocus their China efforts. Currently, they're a small player there, but sales are up. Investment will need to match realistic potential returns, and they'll have to manage the China bureaucracy. Third would be to leverage their green technology efforts in social media. What they don't want to do is turn a positive into a negative by playing this marketing angle too hard. They want to ensure that the efforts are genuine and that the green and social media efforts need to reflect the company's values and goals. Lastly, Ford needs to balance the One Ford strategy with new product development. Mulally has done a great job at Ford cutting costs, improving efficiency in production, and bringing new designs to the market. Additionally, Ford has reached agreements with some of their major suppliers to get more favorable prices. Ford was paying on average $800 more on supplies per car than its competitors. With many new models set to roll out, it'll be interesting to see if these cars are a hit with the consumers. Hybrid cars continue to be an opportunity for Ford. By taking these strategic actions, we feel Ford will be well positioned to continue the gains it has made with its current strategies while at the same time ensuring they are taking advantage of changes in the marketplace.